teeth. So for the next hour, I'd just be sitting there smelling my morning stank the entire time I was out of the house. See, but when you tried to put a breath mint in your mouth to maybe neutralize the stink, it would just redirect your breath directly into your eyeballs. So if you weren't already in tears about how rancid your morning breath was, you would definitely be crying about the amount of menthol that your eyes are being exposed to. Now listen, at first, lockdown was amazing. School was no longer going, many people didn't have to go to work anymore, and because everybody was too scared to leave the house, food delivery services like DoorDash and Uber Eats became a super popular option. Legitimately, all I was doing was eating delivered McDonald's and playing video games all day long. And obviously, with very little physical activity, I started to get a wee bit, rotund. My circumference was getting larger by the week, and it's because of this that I started to feel the first few negatives of lockdown. Trust me, sitting around on my ass all day was fun for a few weeks, but after around the 2-month mark, you really start to realize what's going on. In my mind, I started to think that maybe this isn't all it's cracked up to be, and you start to miss the simple things, like just going for a bike ride with your friends, or just going to the movies, simple things. I think once summer break of 2020 rolled around is when we started to notice the actual effects of lockdown. For example, the class of 2020 wasn't able to get an official graduation. Instead, most schools opted out for a Zoom call, and that's it. I was lucky enough to get an actual graduation. You know how pissed I would be if I went through 12 years of bullshit just to be sitting there on a Zoom call? I know that was awkward as hell too. They were just sitting at their screen like, Pokemon Stickman, congratulations on your graduation. Are you fucking kidding me? Tons of people were also getting laid off of their jobs due to not being able to keep up with the rapidly changing environment. Even my dad had to work from home at one point, and our apartment was so small that he had absolutely nowhere to set up his workstation. So he had to put it in my room, and I would regularly wake up at like 6 a.m. to hear my dad on a work meeting or tip-tapping away at his keyboard. I was having so little real-life social interactions with people that I would dream that I was hanging out with my friend, only for it to be shattered by hearing. As summer break went on, I was really starting to feel bad. I missed being able to see my friends and even my family because of this entire lockdown. It wasn't just as simple as hopping on Fortnite and playing games for hours a day because I was starting to really get bored of it. I got so bored of playing Fortnite that I camo grinded both different types of skins on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And also, you gotta keep in mind that I was starting to get fat as hell during this point. That DoorDash and sweet chili Doritos were really starting to take a toll on me, both physically and mentally. Sure, I could go online and make friends, play games, but I was missing that face-to-face with people. And to put it bluntly, this is where I started getting depressed. And I know for a fact I wasn't the only one who felt this way because I've talked to so many people my age and they felt the same way. So what I used to do is I would go on walks late at night. The apartment that me and my family lived in at the time was on the basement floor, so my window would lead straight to the grass near the sidewalk. So on those nights when it was like 2 a.m. and I just couldn't sleep, I would get out of my bed, hop out the window, and just go for a walk around. The neighborhood without a mask or nothing. I would just take in the night air and finally feel freedom for the first time in quite a while. What I like to do is I would walk the mile to the skate park and I would just sit there alone with my thoughts and take everything in. I didn't have to worry about no social distancing or having to use hand sanitizer every 45 seconds. At these times where I would just walk around the neighborhood, I would feel like it was just me being able to get a break from all the chaos that was going on within the world. It was such a good refresh for me mentally just to be able to walk around and just unwind, relax. And I know for a fact that me and so many other people who are in my generation didn't have a normal time to grow up and be teenagers. And it's just a fact that we did miss out on certain things. And that sucks, like really bad. But at the same time, I'm super happy that I got to have such a unique experience. Obviously, after about a year or so, things started to settle down. Mandates were lifted, people were able to go back to school, go back to their jobs, and it was really awesome being able to go outside and interact and just live life again. It's crazy to think that this wasn't like 2 years ago. This was 5 years ago. This was half a decade. Bro, that is a long time. Before we know it, we're gonna wake up and be old as hell. If I learned anything from the entire lockdown, it's that I can't be locked in for too long. Having no responsibilities is fun, up to a certain extent. Being isolated is not fun. I hope this was a fun little bit of nostalgia down memory lane, for the better or worse. If you guys want to watch more, check out this video. It's pretty cool, and that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next week, and love you. Bye. Let's take it. I don't think you want no action. Now, I don't think it comes to any surprise that I've been a big fan of Gen Z content this year. So I thought, let's just throw all the videos into one. You know, you can fall asleep to them, take it to them, do whatever you want, really. No, I haven't recently started taking up smoking cigarettes. I just have a really bad cold. With that being said, here is Gen Z nostalgia. Gen Z nostalgia. Man, growing up in the 2010s, there is so much that we got to experience. I mean, think of it. It's a pretty big flex to say we were the first generation to grow up with iPads. Now, whenever I think about growing up back then, I just realize how unmatched it is. Like, sure, our parents grew up in the 80s or 90s listening to punk rock and partying all day. But did they get to experience watching Markiplier beat all 5 Nights and Five Nights at Freddy's? I don't think so. So in this video, which I guess could be considered a part 2 for this one, I'm going to be covering even more Gen Z nostalgia because I feel like there's so much more I can talk about. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the school book fair. This was the equivalent of Christmas in school. Whenever you were sitting down in class and your teacher started handing around the little flyers for the school book fair, you immediately knew it was going to be a good week. Because in my elementary and middle school, they would always give the flyers around 3 to 5 days before the actual book fair started. So everyone would be opening the magazines and looking for books that they want, and then they would circle it with a marker. But the one book that everybody was looking for in specific was the new Captain Underpants book and the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Those were the holy grails. But I'll talk more about that in a bit. So, you know, after everybody circled what they wanted, everybody would go home and ask their parents for money, you know, so they could buy the book that they wanted. Me personally, I never got money for the book fair. One of the reasons being because every year for Christmas, I would get the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, which is reasonable. But otherwise, I never understood how come I wasn't able to have money for the book. To me, it seemed totally unfair because while all my friends and everybody else in class was buying books and posters that they wanted, I couldn't get anything. I was sitting there looking at an eraser. But the older I got, the more I realized, oh wow. Yeah, my parents had every right not to give me any. Because now that I'm older, I realize how badly they were taxing at these book fairs. Like, do you remember the posters they would have? At my school, they would usually have 1 Five Nights at Freddy's poster, 1 Minecraft poster, and 1 poster of a sports car. Yeah, guess how much those posters were? $25. Yeah, I wish I was lying too. $25 for a colored printout of a Ferrari. And I swear, I remember the quality of these images not being the best either. Which is probably why they kept them so high up so no kid could see them. I would not be surprised that if I bought that poster, there would probably be like a Getty Images watermark on it. Which absolutely should not be the case, especially if I'm spending an astounding Scrooge McDuck amount of gold on it. They were taxing a heavy amount on the books too, though. And I think something else they did on purpose also is keep a limited amount of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Because they must have known that every single kid is going to dash directly to the table with Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Like, aw, we can't get Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Here's Big Nate. Who is reading Big Nate? I actually was reading Big Nate. I thought it was pretty good. Next up, we're talking about video games. Now, video games back... Here's Big Nate. Who is reading Big Nate? I actually was reading Big Nate. I thought it was pretty good. Next up, we're talking about video games. Now, video games back then were so good. I don't know if it's just that we grew up, or if there's actually been a serious downgrade for video games, but when I hop on a video game now and play with my friend, it doesn't feel the same, really. Something about playing Black Ops 2 Zombies with the homie at a sleepover just hit incredibly different. Nothing will ever be able to beat that. Like, when I was at my friend's house for a sleepover, at around 9-10 p.m. is when we would turn on his Xbox 360 and start running zombies. And bro, we would turn off the lights to do this, and let me tell you, it was pretty nerve-wracking. One time, me and my friends were left home alone because their parents went over to go for dinner, so it was just us in the dark playing zombies. And when you would hear that awful laugh late at night, after you know exactly what laugh I'm talking about. The one that goes, what am I doing? You also had Minecraft. Again, it very well could just be that we grew up, but Minecraft just doesn't feel the same anymore. Ever since the entire Dream SMP came in with Minecraft and everything, it just has felt empty almost, like an entirely new community has taken it over, which it honestly is what happened, but that's not a bad thing. You know, I just want to say for the record, I'm an OG Minecraft player. I remember when horses were added. You know, at the time, the most popular maps that were out there were the DanTDM lab maps and also the giant city map. Don't even get me started on Herobrine. Everyone was doing the netherrack and gold totem thingy, you know, trying to summon him. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, I was so scared of Herobrine. You know, I'd be playing Minecraft on my Amazon tablet. I would build the totem, but would be too scared to actually activate it.
Confidence is not a mindset, it's an achievement. In the GMC's.
But then, when I finally got the courage to light the totem, my heart was beating. I was so scared as to what was gonna happen. I lit the totem and nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. You know why? Because Herobrine is not real. It is a big win. I don't think anything will ever beat Prime Fortnite. I know that sounds cringe. Well, technically, Fortnite is... Yes, I know. But the first few seasons were immaculate. It was some of the most fun I've ever had on a video game in my life. You know, it was a completely new game and it was different from PUBG. You could build things. So when this entire new video game came out, so many people were playing it. It's just one of those things where you truly needed to be there in order to understand. And I know, you know, well, technically speaking, Fortnite is cringe. Yes, it is. There's no arguing that. But you just have to believe me. Please, please believe me. Movies. We grew up with some of the most iconic movies ever. I mean, think about it. We grew up with Ratatouille, The Incredibles, Cars, WALL-E, Finding Nemo. Personally, I really don't think that people who grew up nowadays are gonna be saying, wow, do you remember how good the Snow White remake was? Like, nah, bro. Literally nobody is going to be saying that. Nah, there's no way. You know, Cars is still my favorite movie to this day, unironically. Yes, I know the story is flawed and the animation may be a little bit outdated, but Cars was the coolest thing back in the day. Okay, not only is Lightning McQueen one of the coolest protagonists ever, but he was also a car, which could be converted into a toy. I see what you were doing there, Pixar. I said this in my video about toys, but I had an entire collection of all the Cars characters. I remember one year when I was younger, my parents ended up getting me a boxed set of Toy Story 1 and 2. And bro, those movies were so good. And I deserve a veteran's discount now because I can say I watched Toy Story 3 in theaters. And wow, that movie came out almost 15 years ago, which just makes me feel really old. But then you had other classic movies like Monsters Inc. I am not even going to argue on this. Monsters Inc. is one of the best movies with one of the best endings. But then you have The Incredibles, starting off with one of the best intro songs, but nowadays, they're putting out movies like Toy Story 5. Why does there need to be a number 5? I really don't know, man. Hey, want another video to watch? Click this playlist here. It has every single one of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and to all of my lovely subscribers. Mobile games. Now, when it comes to mobile games, definitely a lot has changed over the years. We went from strategy and puzzle-based games where you had to at least use some portion of your brain to whatever this is. Seriously, what is this? Now, I'm not sure if you remember, but back in the wee ages of our youth, mobile games were all the rage. Everyone would be coming to school with their iPod Touch and be playing these games all recess instead of, being active. Now, I truly do believe that we lived in the peak of mobile games, and what better way to honor them than to go back. Yeah, that segue sucked. Holy shit. Now this is a certified classic. The premise is very simple. Finish the level without making any mistakes and you win. Touch to spike? Go all the way back to the beginning and try again. All the while, your ears are being bombarded with dubstep music. The thing about Geometry Dash is that something even as little as precise timing can cost you that entire level's run, forcing you to keep trying again and again and figure out the timing and touch patterns out for yourself. Eventually, over time, it just becomes muscle memory. It requires such patience, which is something that I even struggled with when playing this. The thing about it is that there was no way to cheat or anything, you just simply had to get good at the game. And thankfully, I was. Instead of socializing and making friends at school, I was sitting at the lunch table playing Geometry Dash. In the long run, was it worth it? I mean, who else in my graduating class can say that they're able to beat all 3 demon levels? Yeah, I bet not many. Yeah, those 15 minutes of fame were totally worth it. Geometry Dash is one of the best mobile games, whether you were good at it or not. 10 out of 10. Dumb ways to die. Bro, this game was another amazing one. The game makes you solve puzzles and complete tasks to, you guessed it, prevent yourself from dying in a dumb way. It started off simple and easy, but then it would get faster and faster and more obstacles would pop up and you'd have less time to complete them. Then they released 2 more games. You have no idea how hype I was when I found out that these existed. The only thing that pissed me off about this game was the ads, which honestly, it takes it down a couple spots for me. Also, a real quick fun fact about this game, it was actually part of a railroad safety campaign for Melbourne, Australia. This is how you properly do a PSA. Such an iconic game, 8 out of 10. Angry Birds. Campaign for Australia. This is how you properly do a PSA. Such an iconic game, 8 out of 10. Angry Birds. Birds. Can we just take a moment of silence and acknowledge
how hard this game fell off. This game really was at the top of the world. It had collabs, merch, and at one point even its own movie. Angry Birds was just one of those things that I think were only so popular because it was close to the only available thing at the time. It was either Angry Birds or Candy Crush, and unless you're past the age of 35, ain't nobody playing Candy Crush. Angry Birds had a bunch of spin-offs like Bad Piggies, Angry Birds Go, which was essentially just a Mario Kart but with Angry Birds. Me personally, I was an Angry Birds Star Wars guy. I even had a t-shirt of it. This game was very simple and very straightforward, and I think paved the way for a lot of what mobile games were to be. 7 out of 10. Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. Alright, now I just want to say that these two games are very different now than what they used to be like 10 years ago, before the sweats and hackers and everything of the sort. I remember I used to play Clash of Clans all the time, building my town hall and upgrading mines, things like that. The thing is that it requires patience, where you wait anywhere from 15 seconds to like an entire fucking week. But you could skip the entire wait and anticipation by using gems. But oops, they're blocked by a paywall. And these gems aren't cheap either. For like 1,200 gems, it's like $10 plus tax. So this would lead me and many others to go down alternative styles of acquiring them. That being free gem hack 100% working 2016. Now I remember when I would be looking at these on my Samsung tablet, I wasn't even actually able to get to the part where you got the gems because I kept getting spammed with pop-ups on my screen, as well as being told I need to complete some survey. But every time I would do the survey, which by the way took like 10 to 15 minutes each one, you know what? Nothing would happen. I'd be sitting there like an idiot. Now, Clash Royale was the exact same way, but it was somehow worse. Instead of waiting for a town hall or a building to upgrade or something, you were always waiting on your chest to open. So you had to wait an entire extra like 12 hours to get your rewards. And half the time, the rewards were garbage anyways. And this is pretty much how Supercell makes money, and it wasn't just these two games. You had other games like Heyday, Brawl Stars, Boom Beach. Did anyone ever actually play Boom Beach? Like, I would see advertisements of it everywhere, but I don't remember anyone actually playing it. All I remember is that back in middle school, people kept calling it Boom Beach. Anyways, these games were okay, but the entire paywall thing definitely takes it down. 4 out of 10. Subway Surfers and Temple Run. I'm just gonna put these two things together because, let's be honest, they're essentially the same thing. You're running away from something as the course gets faster and faster. Doesn't matter if it's an angry security guard or a giant monkey gorilla thing. Okay, seriously, what the is this thing? For me, these two were games that I would play maybe while I was waiting for my parents to run into the store and grab something, or when I'd be waiting to get picked up from school. But if you play for more than like 3 rounds, it just gets very stale very fast because there isn't much replayability. After all, it's an arcade game. You just try and beat your previous high score and that's it. No levels or progression, nothing. Now, I will give Subway Surfers credit where credit is due. The music was indeed one of the best bops to have ever come out of the 2010s. It still goes hard to this day. Another thing about it is that it can captivate your attention. Don't believe me? Well, I've been playing nothing but gameplay on your screen for like the past 20 seconds, and I'm willing to bet you were watching it the whole way through. I think TikTok and Subway Surfers single-handedly revived Family Guy back into popularity because of those gameplay clips. Not a great game, not a bad one, 6 out of 10. In conclusion, either mobile games have changed drastically, or it could just be nostalgia. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to follow my socials. I'm going to leave those all down below. You know, maybe even hit the big red button. I'm also thinking of creating another channel, or maybe even 2 channels, to talk about completely different things, like
What's faster, this brand new EV Dodge Charger or buying Bitcoin on the Gemini exchange? Let's find out.
Help me renovate them all.
You brought us halfway across Roblox to give us jobs?
If you want expensive things and I wasn't so sure. Wait.
Hey, shut up! Yeah, some And that's what I
said. Supply.
know. You're right, too.
Come on, idiot! You're coming with.
Yeah, guys. Not helping.
Levi, you have to help me.
No, you did this to yourself, so deal with it.
Ugh. Whatever. You're gonna regret this, and I'll make sure of it.
Levi Strong, please report to the principal's office immediately!
What the heck is that about? What's going on here?
You're a terrible liar, Levi. That's what's going on.
I don't understand.
Parker has been caught copying your homework, and he claims that you let him do it.
It's true. I asked Levi for help, and he made me copy his homework instead of helping me.
Dude, that's the worst lie ever. I tried to help him, but he refused.
I have no choice. You both get detention for a week. And Levi, if you get in trouble again, you'll be expelled. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now get out of my office so I can continue watching my show. I hate kids.
So, dude, did you ask out Tiffany yet, or what?
Yeah, but she said no, but it's like whatever, dude. She's like a 6 and I'm like a 9, so I'm gonna ask out Bridget instead.
Parker, we need to talk.
Yeah, no, sorry. No poor people allowed within 50 feet of us.
Then you should leave.
What? Dude, don't embarrass me in front of my friend.
I don't care about that. What you did was messed up.
I told you, you were gonna regret not helping me, and look at what happened.
Yeah, well, I tried, and you ditched me, man. You know what? I've had enough. What is your problem?
You wanna know what my problem is? Fine, I'm used to getting whatever I want, because that's what I deserve.
Maybe you got away with all that with your billionaire parents, but they're gone. And it's time for you to face reality and grow up.
Yeah? Well, if you know what's good for you, you're just gonna give me what I want.
No, no way, man. And if you keep this up, I'm warning you. I'm not gonna have your back, and you'll be alone.
Ugh, you're a terrible brother.
Yeah, well, look in the mirror, man.
Whatever, just stay out of my way. Yo, happy 18th birthday, Levi, here.
Thanks, dude.
This party is awesome. So happy your parents still let you have it after,
Yeah, with Parker getting in a lot of trouble lately, trust me, it almost didn't happen.
Did you ask for Parker to be shipped off to Antarctica for your birthday? Come on, please tell me you did.
No, but I probably should have.
You losers are talking about me again, aren't you? And what is this? They all say Levi on them. Where are my presents?
You're not getting any, dude. It's my birthday, not yours.
Ugh. If I don't get them, then no one gets them. Ha! Ha!
Stop it, Parker. You're acting like a 5-year-old.
Hey, what's going on here? Whoa! Why are these presents destroyed?
Levi did it.
What? Parker just did that. Why would I destroy my own presents?
Levi, have you lost your mind?
You flipped out because I wanted to see your gifts, and he won't share, Dad.
You selfish brat. You know what? Party's over. Everybody go home. Levi's being a stinky brat.
Parker ruined my party, and now I have to clean up? How can my dad not see that this isn't fair? Wait, what's going on?
Hey, Parker, come on outside. Check this out.
Whoa, no way.
Yep, this is for you, Parker. I hope you like it.
Thanks, Dad. I mean, it's not the right color, but I guess it'll do.
Wait, what the heck, Dad? You bought him a car?
Oh my gosh, Dad, look, Levi's just so jealous of me.
Give me one reason, Dad. Give me one reason why he deserves this.
Because he just does. He had a hard time today.
You know what? Thanks for the car, Dad. I'm gonna go. Bye.
Dad, how can you not see what he's doing? You just made a huge mistake right now.
Maybe it was a mistake. I mean, I just spent all my savings on that car. I really hope Parker likes it.
You need to wake up, Dad. You're just giving in to him and spoiling him.
But he has no family, Levi.
Getting the BXD and PXP with the L4 and BMG from BCAPs to align with the JPKs from GDC. Dan, thoughts?
I'll lock in the L4B and G and align it.
I just...
Dude, quit.
Yep.
Yo, that
To get his family up.
Oh. I scared.
Know what? Well,
what? Here for you.
wow. Thanks, Levi.
Ah, Percy, there you are. Wait, why are you carrying a bag?
My dear, you should have the butler carry that.
No, I'm fine.
Where are you going?
I'm leaving.